Hey guys, it's Marissa, and for today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a review of my first semester at the Fashion Institute of Technology. So I'm just going to be telling you how it went, some of my opinions, and all those questions that I wondered before I came here. So yeah, let's just get started. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is like the dorming situations and how all that is for me. If you saw my dorm tour, you would know that I'm in co-ed hall, which is a co-educational building, which means guys and girls can live in it. Floors like 2 through 10 are regular rooms, no apartment style, and then 11 through 15 are apartment style. And I am in a regular traditional room with no bathroom, no kitchen, so I share the bathroom like with the people on my floor. And to be completely honest, I was really scared for that at the beginning because, you know, I like to have my own space and I just really wanted an apartment because, like, who doesn't? But honestly, it's not that bad. The people on my floor are generally clean, so there's never like a huge mess in the bathroom, and they do have like people who come in and clean and stuff and take out the trash. One thing I will say is that some of the lower floors do have renovated bathrooms and my floor does not, so that kind of sucks because the renovated bathrooms are really nice, but it's still, and I'm just thankful that I even have somewhere to sleep and somewhere to have a bathroom, so that's all that really matters. But yeah, it's not awful, it's really not, like, and I'm very picky about those type of things, so if you end up in a traditional room, you will be okay. Like, if I'm okay, you will be okay. And with that being said, it is kind of easier to make friends without having like an apartment style because, you know, you're like constantly leaving, you're like going to the dining hall and stuff, and that's a really good way to make friends with people on your floor. So it's really, I promise, it's not that bad if you get in a traditional room. Like, sure, it'd be cool to have your own bathroom and kitchen, but also a lot more work. So in conclusion, traditional dorms are not completely awful. It's truly not that bad. I mean, I do have like a smaller room compared to like some of the people next to me, which does suck because I am kind of running out of space, but I guess it forces me to keep as little as things as possible in my room. So next I'm going to be talking about the dining hall. This is where I really have my opinions. Okay, here's the thing. The dining hall, like, the food is not completely awful. Like, I survived, I lived. Like, it's not completely unedible all the time. Like, it's food, it's, like, I'm not going to complain because, like, there are people who don't have food at all, and really I'm just thankful that they do that for us. But what bothers me about the dining hall is the hours and like the limitations, especially the weekends. Like, they close early and it's just irritating, and especially for people who have to work, like, they just have to get their own, and if they don't have a apartment, then they're just on their own for food, really. So that can be kind of hard for people who work or have internships and they don't have schedules that line up with like the dining hall hours. That can really suck. I will say their hours are completely annoying. Options are very limited. It's a very small dining hall for like how many people go there, at least in my opinion. Like, the lines are always long. If you have like 10 minutes to get to another class, like, you probably won't be able to get anything at the dining hall except for something that costs money, like out of the fridge. You can only get certain things with like your meal swipes. Like, there's posters that like say what you can get. For like example, you can get chicken tenders and fries and then a drink. And you can also get like a cookie or an apple. Some of the other stations are different. Like, for example, you can't go over to the pizza thing and get a slice of pizza and then french fries because it'll cost extra, because that's just not part of the meal plan. And that can be very frustrating, especially when there's not like a ton of options. Like, I know somebody who was vegan, who was in a traditional dorm, and literally could eat like 2 things, and like that gets old. Like, she was eating the same 2 things. And I am a picky eater. Even for me, there's like not a lot of options. Like, I rotate through the same like 3 or 4 things, so it does get old. Like, I can't even tell you how many times me and a friend or myself walked into the dining hall, looked around, got irritated, and then left and went to Panera because there was literally nothing there, or the stations were closed, or just whatever the reason. Like, I don't have anything against the dining hall. Like, honestly, it's really not that bad. It's just the hours and the limitations. I think that they need to work on like what you can get with a meal swipe. Because of how much we do pay for those meal plans, it just does not add up to like what you're getting out of it. Like, I think you should be able to go up to the fridge and get a thing of fruit and then use that as a meal swipe. Like, I don't see why not, but no, you have to spend $4 extra. They do give you a fair amount of declining balance, and what that is you can use your declining balance dollars at like Starbucks or from the things out of the fridge, or just like anything throughout the dining hall, or their little like food stations throughout campus, the dining hall, Starbucks. And there's like one like campus thing that has like, doesn't have like cooked food, it just has like things out of like a fridge or like chips and stuff like that. Like, you will run out of that money, so it's not a forever thing. So in conclusion, for the dining hall, it's not completely awful. I'm just irritated by the hours and the limitations, and also, no tea, no shade, but some of the people who work there can be very rude and ruin your day. So next I'm going to be talking about like the social life. I always knew that FIT is where I wanted to go, but like I always wondered like if I would have friends or about the dating life and stuff like that. So I'll just say that there are a lot more guys than I thought. But if you're a girl who's looking for a relationship with a guy, there's not a lot of straight guys. And if there are some, then they probably already have girlfriends. I have a ton of guy friends, they're all super nice and fun to hang around, so it's not completely like filled with girls. It really is very diverse, so you will meet a lot of different people. And then as for like the friends and social aspect, from my experience, I was like very lonely at the beginning because I had made some friends at orientation, but like our schedules were just way too different and we really couldn't find time for each other, so like we just kind of stopped talking. Like, yes, I have them on like Snapchat and social media and stuff, but we kind of stopped hanging out after like the first and second week when like orientation was done. As the time goes on, like you'll meet a few people, and my first semester's over and I don't have a billion friends. Like, there are some people there who are like best friends with their roommates, and they have like other roommates that are best friends with them, and they have like a whole group of like 4 or 6 girls, and really it's just like, that's not realistic at all. I just want to put that out there. I know a lot of people say like, oh, you'll find your friend group like super fast. Like, no, you probably won't unless you're really lucky, but it's also not completely impossible to find friends. Like, I made friends with somebody who lives next door to me because we're the same major and we happen to have classes together, and our schedules were very similar and we lived like right next door, so that was really easy. And if you get involved with things, like that's another way to make friends. I want to talk about getting involved on campus, so I'll transition here to that. So one of the ways that I made friends was through Fashion Week. So FIT will have like a whole day dedicated to like signing up for Fashion Week. Basically, it's kind of first come first serve though, so if you get there you can sign up. So what happened was like I signed up for a show, and so did this other girl, and I happened to have her on Snapchat. She was wondering if anybody else had the same show as her, and I was like, I do, and we decided to go together, and like ever since that, like we were friends. So that's just one way you can meet people like outside of your classes and outside of the hall that you live on. Also, like joining clubs. For example, I'm in Blush magazine, so I was like a makeup artist and a writer in the Blush magazine, and that was another way to like get involved on campus and to meet new friends and just meet new people in general and make connections. So I really recommend that if you can. It really doesn't take up like all that much of your time. It is like a commitment, at least for me. Like, I would never commit to something and like not follow through, but it's definitely like valuable, and it really is worth your time in the end. And FIT always has like club fairs towards the beginning of the semester, so like you can just sign up for things and get involved that way. Like, another way that I'm involved is through student government, being on the concert committee, so I have made like connections and friends through those things. Yes, I really recommend getting involved in order to like get connected with new people throughout the school and make new friends. So the last thing I'm going to be talking about in this video is like classes and schedules and then like professors. So I'll start off with saying I am an AMC major. In case you didn't know, that stands for Advertising and Marketing Communications, and my plan is to get my associates in that and then get my bachelor's in Cosmetics and Fragrance Marketing. So basically, with the amount of transfer credits that I had from high school, I don't have to take as many like extra classes as some people do, for example like science and English. So for my first semester, these are the classes that I took. For the AMC major, in the first semester, you're required to take Fashion Business Practices, Multimedia Computing, Digital Layout 1, and Integrated Marketing Communications. So those 4 classes are pretty self-explanatory. Fashion Business Practices it's a lot of information in that class. I honestly think it should be split up into two like semesters because it is a lot of information to remember, but it's literally just like business 101. And then multimedia computing is you learn Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and that's a really helpful class. Digital layout, you learn how to use InDesign, and you make a bunch of things on InDesign. And then integrated marketing communications is like marketing 101. This was my favorite class. It's a really awesome class. You learn a lot and it's really fun. And then so like you do those required classes for the major, and then you go off and you can do like other things you're required. For example, like I took art history, and then I took a PE class, so I took jazz dance because you're required a PE credit and you're required to take art history sometime throughout like your 4 years. So I decided to get art history out of the way and the PE credit out of the way. So that's what my schedule looked like. The first semester, there are a lot of people who take like 7 or 8 classes. I was taking 6, which was like, I wanted to start off like kind of low just to like see how things went, and that was probably the best idea because like as I was still adjusting to being somewhere new, living somewhere completely new, not knowing anybody around me. If you can and you do have kind of like extra room to take like a lighter load of courses like your very first semester here, just because you will be adjusting and things are new, and that was just like the best way for me to transition in. So I'm not going to be talking about any particular professors because that's just like, I'm pretty sure that's probably illegal and that's just like not nice, I guess. Although I would like to talk about some. Honestly, like how you do in the class truly is like kind of impacted by the professor, because I know people who had very lenient professors, like they could have been like 3 points off from like an A- and their teacher would bump them up. But then in my experience, maybe I was like 0.5 away from an A and my professor wouldn't bump me up. So really it just all depends on who you have. There's nobody at FIT who is unqualified. Like they all know information, but not all of them are the best at teaching, since they just are required to have 7 years experience in like a field of business. They aren't necessarily required to have been like professors or teachers. For a lot of them, teaching at FIT isn't even like their only job. A lot of them have their own like companies, businesses, like other things that they do that take up more of their time outside of FIT. It really just, everybody has different experiences with professors, like not gonna lie. It's just, you just have to remind yourself, as cliche as it sounds, it's okay not to be perfect, and don't compare yourself to other people because they could have the most lenient teachers in the whole entire world who will like bump their D up to an A. Like I'm not even kidding. And you could have a professor and you could be 0.01 away from an A and they'll leave you at an A-. So basically what I'm trying to say is everybody has a completely different experience, and not to compare yours to others because it's your own experience. Another thing that I will say is that not all of the professors use Blackboard, which is like where they go to enter grades and post announcements and stuff like that. Not all of them enter grades in there. I had 1 out of like 6 professors who actually used it. I was very thankful for that one teacher who did, because it's very helpful. Like you will go the whole semester if you're not getting things returned to you. Like I had a professor that didn't grade things and hand them back. Like you will have no idea how you're doing in that class, which can be very frustrating. I don't think that they understand that we are paying a lot of money to come here, and it'd be helpful to know in order to like succeed in general, because it's just frustrating when it's their job to, you know, grade you and all that stuff, and they can't even like upload the grade. It can get very frustrating. Don't expect to know your grades throughout the whole semester, because not every professor gives you your grades. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you have any questions at all concerning FIT, or if you have any video recommendations that I should do about FIT. And yes, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!